Heroes created by people's imagination live and commit their acts of bravery in our program, The Legend of Kazakhs. Legends are an invaluable cultural heritage passed down from generation to generation. Rivers are called the blue arteries of the earth. They feed the earth and carry life. The role of rivers in the life of people inhabiting the planet is invaluable. Rivers were used for the irrigation of lands, for the transportation of goods, and on the shores of high-water rivers, areas of farming arose, and settlements and cities were formed. Our ancestors admired the beauty and wild nature of the rivers. They even worshipped the spirits that inhabited the rivers and offered them sacrifices. There are different types of rivers: mountain, flat, or underground. All of them are of great interest for scientists and unique in their characteristics. The beautiful blue Ili River flows in the territory of Kazakhstan. It is not without reason that its name comes from the Mongol word Ilansu, which translates as sparkling. The Ili is the largest river in the seven-river system, and it is always different. At its height, it travels through the mountains as a mountain river, and in the middle it is flat, and in the lower parts it travels through a desert, as it crosses the desert of the Taukum in the Saresik Atrau. The river takes its beginning at an altitude of more than 3,000 meters in the mountains of the eastern Tian Shan. The history of the Kazakh people is closely connected with this river, as settlements arose on the banks, and trade was also taking place. Because the river was quite a busy road from western China, it witnessed many battles. People have come up with many stories and legends about this river. We will now share one of the legends about this amazing river. Hot air rose slowly from the hot earth. Out of the silence there broke a crackling voice. "It's hot today." "Yes," another voice screeched in response. "Good." "Yes." The two shrubs talked to each other. One was still a very young bush, and its dry, thin branches were rolled like a ball of wool, and a powerful root went down deep into the ground and firmly held it in place. The other was bigger. Its branches curved, and the stems with the branches stretched out and formed a large, dry, shaggy comb. "You know, Uncle," the young shrub said, "I wonder why we're standing still. Why we can't fly like birds all the time, or run fast like the green lizards, or the ever-busy ants. Why are we tied up to this place, and only the wind moves over us?" "This is how it should be, and that's all. What's not clear to you?" the uncle answered. "Time will come and a gust of wind will tear you from your roots, and you will roll along the steppe. I feel that for me it will come very soon. My seeds will soon ripen. Oh, how I wish I could roll with the wind right now. Right now I would tear myself away from my roots and fly across the steppe. There's so much to see, so much to learn. Ah, Uncle!" "All in good time, nephew," the uncle answered, and he closed his eyes, plunging into a sweet daze. "Uncle, look, look!" the young bush cried joyfully. Hey, over here, over here." A large, dry lump of tangled branches flew up to them and loudly, joyfully said, "Strong wind, brothers!" "And to you too," the young bush cried. "Tell me, Where are you going?" "I'm rolling on the steppe in search of a cloud. It is such a bluish cloud. She is my friend and often flew over my house. She was not so greedy and always poured out rain on me when I wanted it, and I loved to bathe in the cool drops of her rain. From the water I was covered with green leaves. I looked so magnificent. But I have not seen her for a long time, and now I'm looking for her everywhere. But so far, I haven't found her." "Raindrops?" the young shrub repeated in surprise. "What are these drops of rain?" "You don't know what rain is?" exclaimed the tumbleweed. "No, I don't." "It's a miracle, just a miracle," the tumbleweed exclaimed. "Now it's time for me. The wind has risen, and I'm flying away. The wind has blown, and it's carrying me along." The young bush watched him for a long time before he disappeared out of view. The nephew looked intently at his uncle and started a serious conversation with him. "Why don't I know what the rain is? Why is that, uncle?" The uncle bush exhaled in annoyance. "I knew it. Rain, rain. Well, what's with the rain anyway? For example, he doesn't need me at all. And you don't know about it, of course, because our land is in a drought, and rains are extremely rare. However," the uncle stopped and thought for a minute, and then he continued, "when you were little, rain poured one day. You don't remember?" "No, absolutely not," the young disappointed bush cried. "I don't remember a thing." "Well, there was rain." "I remember that I also once had green leaves, but the rain, I don't remember." "Oh, please stop it with the rain. We don't need it anyway. We drink the morning dew and our roots are very long. They extract moisture from the sand and the clay." "But I must see this rain. I also want to swim in its drops. I must find this cloud." Quickly fingering his gray-green legs, the lizard ran. "Wait, wait," the young bush called. "Yes, you. Please stop." The lizard froze and turned her head. "What do you want?" the lizard blinked. "Tell me, do you know what the rain is?" "Of course I know." "And what is it like?" "What is it like?" the lizard thought. "It's wet." Ha ha ha. The lizard grinned and, wagging her tail, disappeared from him, buried in the sand with her head. The first stars shone in the sky, and the night threw its black dark veil over the steppe. The steppe revived. Someone ran and rustled and hissed among the bushes. But Uncle was fast asleep. But on until morning the young bush didn't close his eyes. He was still thinking about the water, about the rain, and the fact that he needed to find a cloud and to swim in these drops of rain, no matter what. Only now he was thinking about how to break away from this place, how to fly away from this strong root. The bushes began to swing back and forth, left and right, but no matter how hard they tried, nothing happened. The strong root held him firmly in place. Slowly and lazily, the sun woke up, creeping out from behind the sandhill. Tired and exhausted, the bush looked at the rising sun and shed tears of despair. Or maybe it were the drops of morning dew in his eyes. A gopher ran past the bush, hurrying. "Hello, friend, come over here." The gopher jumped to the bush and sang. "What do you want?" "Help me, my brother. Cut off my root with your sharp and strong teeth. Help me." Before the bush could finish his sentence, the teeth of the animal snapped and snacked on the root. The bush jumped in his place. He felt extraordinarily at ease and in freedom. "Ah!" he exclaimed. And he wanted to thank his rescuer and ask him about the rain. But the gopher had disappeared somewhere. At that same instant, the bush turned into a tumbleweed. He reached to his uncle and began to wake him up, shaking him with his dry twigs. The uncle was surprised, and he opened his eyes. He saw his nephew next to him, freely swaying in the wind. "Look, uncle," cried the young bush, "I'm free! And now I can go in search of rain!" The uncle shook his crooked dry branches and screeched, "What have you done, you stupid boy? Is it possible? What will happen to you now?" "Don't worry, uncle. I feel so happy. The wind has risen now. Goodbye, dear uncle. I hope I'll see you again soon," the young tumbleweed shouted as he was carried away with the strong impulse of the steppe wind. He was incredibly happy and free. When the wind stopped moving, the field began to stop, and he saw a large branchy twisted twig. It was an old saxaoul. "I wish you many years under the sun, you mighty saxaoul," the young tumbleweed greeted the tree. "And to you as well, tumbleweed," the tree responded with a crackling dry voice. "Say, saxaoul, I know you've lived in the world for many years, and you've seen quite a lot. I know you know many things. Could you tell me about the rain? After all, they say that it's a miracle." The twisted branches creaked, and the saxaoul laughed. "Ha ha 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 ha! You've cheered me up, kid. Ha ha! Why do you need the rain? Creatures like us, we don't need it at all. We only need the sun. It must make our branches sinewy and strong. See what I am? And from the rain I would become raw. My roots are too long, and they find water deep under the ground. Why do you need the rain anyway?" The tumbleweed then rolled away from the saxaoul and thought, "He doesn't know anything about the rain. That's why he said that." And he rolled further and further along. His native steppe was still great. He couldn't even imagine it. Behind a high hill, he saw a stone statue. It was important and looked down on everything. The tumbleweed rolled up to him and greeted him. "May your fortress last for many years, Stone Balbal." "Uh-huh," the Balbal said condescendingly. "What do you want from me, you dry grass balloon dangling in the wind?" "My name is Tumbleweed. I wanted to ask you." But then the stone idol interrupted the tumbleweed and quickly began to chatter. "Doesn't matter to me at all, and it's not even interesting what you have to say. I'm sorry," the tumbleweed said, and he was about to retreat from the Balbal. And again he started talking to him. "Well, come on, ask. What do you want to know?" "I wanted to ask you, have you seen a big blue dark cloud? And I wanted also to ask you about the rain." "I haven't seen a cloud for many years." "Rain? What about the rain? Why are you interested in it?" "I want to swim in the rain. They say it is just wonderful." "That's a strange thing. Who can say that?" The idol twisted his lips. "The rain is not important for me, and it's not interesting at all. After it, my body dries up and even cracks a little. Nope, nope, no. I don't like rain at all." The tumbleweed was saying goodbye to the stone Balbal, and then he rolled on. He met on his way various strange animals and plants, and he asked everyone about the cloud, but no one knew where to look for it. But for many days he continued to travel, until he reached the mighty high gray mountains. Their tops, covered with snow-white caps, sparkled in the sun. The tumbleweed froze at the sight of such beauty. "Mountains, how beautiful you are!" he exclaimed. The tumbleweed decided to roll and climb up the mountains, and to look from the top down to the steppe. Maybe he will be able to see the big blue cloud from above. He stopped to rest and suddenly heard a plaintive sob. The tumbleweed followed the sound, and he saw a small gray cloud clinging to the sharp peaks of the rock. The cloud was sitting and softly sobbing. "What's the matter with you, little cloud?" exclaimed the tumbleweed. "What are you so upset about? Has someone offended you?" The cloud exclaimed. No one has offended me. I myself have suffered, and all of this is because of my own curiosity. I went down very low to the ground, and now I clung to the rocks, but I can't free myself for a long time. A little more time will pass and I'll be evaporated all by myself. I'll become only a small droplet and then completely disappear. Tell me, how can I help you? I don't want to leave you in trouble. Oh, thank you. If you will roll close to me and can unhook me from the rocks, then I'll be free. Of course. The rolling field rolled to the dangerous edge of the rock, and despite its fear of heights, began to swing the cloud with all its force, trying to unhook it. Sweat began to pour down in 7 streams, descending from the rolling field, until finally he was able to unhook the cloud from the rock. The cloud floated high in the blue sky, and the tumbleweed collapsed on the rocks from fatigue and fell asleep. He didn't remember how long he slept, but he was awakened with a ringing laugh, and he opened his eyes and saw a large blue cloud. Oh, I was looking for you, Cloud. Looking for me? You've saved me, brave tumbleweed. Now I've got strength back, and I'm back to thank you. What can I do for you? So you were that little cloud? Yes, she laughed. I so want to see the rain, the tumbleweed exclaimed. That's all you want? Yes, I can give you that, as much as you want. The blue cloud became a lush shade of blue, and large drops of water began to drip from it. It was rain. The cool drops touched the dry, tangled branches of the rolling field, and he felt an incredible bliss. A miracle! This truly is indeed a miracle, he shouted. More, more! The rain turned into a downpour, and the streams of water dripped from the mountain, and merging formed a large bubbling river. That's how the river Ili was formed so high in the mountains of the Tian Shan. The Ili is one of the largest rivers in Kazakhstan. The total length of the river is almost 1,500 kilometers, and its source is located at the confluence of the Tekiz and Kungis rivers. The river takes its origin in the eastern Tian Shan. More than 800 kilometers of it flows in the territory of Kazakhstan. It is interesting that the Ili River crosses various natural landscape zones. Its upper part crosses the mountains, and in the middle part the plains, while the lower part reaches deserts. The Ili is an unpredictable river. Its particles of silt suspended in the water, settling, constantly change the channel, forming a multitude of channels with islands. The Ili River is the 3rd river in Kazakhstan for the water-bearing capacity, after the Irtysh and Urals. It is a mountain river, and it is characterized by a rapid current and cool water. The river is fed by melting glaciers and snow. Numerous rivers, the Turgen, Talgar, Charin, and others, flow on the territory of Kazakhstan. In its middle, the Ili fills up the Kapchagai Reservoir, flows further, forming a huge number of canals, islets covered with bushes and reeds, and flows into Lake Balkhash. At the confluence of the lake, the river forms a wide delta, as well as many hills and small lakes. The Ili flows into the western part of the lake and strongly desalinates it. Today, the Ili River is very popular among those lovers of fishing and tourism, especially because of the great rafting to Lake Balkhash.